Hey everybody, so I want to talk about the Boston Bruins, and I have a question that seems kind of ridiculous this early in the season with it only being the beginning of December, but when you actually look at things in this division, it's not as ridiculous as it seems, and that question is, have the Boston Bruins already won the Atlantic Division? Now, before we get into the video and I explain more, I just want to remind everyone to please hit that thumbs up button and like the video if you haven't. It greatly helps out the channel. And if you're new, please subscribe and follow along for all my hockey content this season and all year round. So, have the Boston Bruins already won the Atlantic Division? That might sound ridiculous before Christmas at the beginning of December, but Boston right now has a 14-point lead already over their competition in the Atlantic. Second place is the Florida Panthers with 31 points. Boston has 45 points already and is really looking like certainly one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league this year. I didn't see this coming with the Bruins. Listen, I'm a Bruins fan, but I didn't expect them to be like this. Boston surprised me with their Stanley Cup run last year. I didn't see them going that far, but I thought that they were largely aided by not having to go through Tampa Bay or Washington, both who lost in the first round, surprisingly, and that really eased up the road to the finals for Boston. Going into this year, I thought Boston was going to be still a playoff team. They're still a good team without a doubt. They didn't make a whole lot of changes this offseason. They added a couple depth guys, lost a couple depth guys. It wasn't no big changes. They brought basically the same team back. And I went into this year, I think I predicted them, if you go back to my season predictions, I think I predicted them to finish third in the Atlantic. I did not see this coming. I did not know that this team would be this good. But so far, through 28 games this season, they are 23-5 on the year for 45 points. 23-5. We are into December. Just let this sink in. We are into December, and Boston has 3 regulation losses. 3 regulation losses on the season, and we're in December. That is insane to me. And what's even more ridiculous is their record at home. 12-0-4 on home ice this season. They have not lost a game in regulation at home all year. And it's not like this is just a hot start. We're a month in. No, we're now 2 full months into the season. We're into December. We're a third of the way through the year. Boston has yet to lose on home ice in regulation. That is just ridiculous to me. I never expected this team to be this good. But when you look at the rest of the Atlantic Division, Toronto has been really disappointing this season. They only are at 30 points right now. Tampa Bay, what happened? What happened to the Tampa Bay Lightning? They're only at 29 points right now. Montreal got off to a really good start, but has been really, really bad lately. They're down out of a playoff position at 30 points. When you look at the Atlantic Division, Boston seems to have already won it. Who's going to catch Boston? This Boston team is really, really good, so do not expect any long stretches of losing. Sure, they're going to lose games at some point, but they're not going to lose 8 in a row. This isn't a team that's just going to get, that's going to go through one of those stretches where they just lose and lose and lose. They're too good. So for any team to make up 14 points on them at this point with already a third of the season gone, it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And when you look at Florida is in second place right now with 31 points. They have they can score. We know Florida can score, but they're giving up a lot of goals as well. They don't look like a team that's going to, rip off 10 in a row. They're struggling to keep their goal differential even close to even. They're in second place right now. They have a negative goal differential. They're -1 on the season. That, again, this division's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Buffalo's in third place. Buffalo, I don't trust at all. This is a team that got off to a really, really good start, then had a horrible month of November. We'll see how December goes for them. I don't trust Buffalo. Toronto and Tampa Bay, who I thought would be the, two teams closest to Boston, have been both huge disappointments this season. Toronto has played 30 games already. They're 13-13-4. They're a 500 team right now. Tampa Bay has only played 25 games, but they're 13-9-3. They haven't been very good this year. I don't see any of these teams catching Boston. Now, Tampa or Toronto, I do think have the talent to possibly rip off a long win streak. But even if they were to rip off, 8 in a row or 10 in a row, they're, catching Boston's still going to be almost impossible just because Boston's already built up that 14-point lead. They're probably, it would take a, serious losing streak from the Bruins for even a win streak like that from another team to help catch them. I honestly, looking at these standings right now, Boston pretty much already has won the division. And you know what? Looking at the Metro, it's not as big of a gap. It's only a 9-point gap, but Washington kind of seems like they've already won the Metro as well. The only thing with that is the Islanders have only played 26 games and Washington's already played 30. So that number of games played gap could come into play there. But when you look at the Atlantic, man, no one's even close to Boston. No one is even close. Boston has 101 goals for already, only 65 goals against, a plus 36 goal differential. That is unbelievable. They're on an 8-game win streak right now. They're 9-0-1 in their last 10. This team is nasty. They're incredibly good this year, which I did not think that they would be this good. And everyone else in the division kind of sputtering. Toronto and Tampa, like I said, have been huge disappointments. Montreal, I think, is a 500 team at best. Buffalo, I don't trust at all. Florida, we know that they have the offense, but can they keep the puck out of their net? They're only 5-5 in their last 10 games. I just don't see anyone being able to make a run at Boston. So as ridiculous as it might seem for someone to be saying that a division race is already over at the beginning of December, when you really delve into the standings and the stats in the Atlantic Division, it seems pretty over to me. I think Boston is pretty much a lock to win the Atlantic Division at this point. I don't see anyone making up a 14-point gap. And now for the Bruins, you're right behind Washington with a couple games in hand as far as most points in the league. So if you're the Bruins now, I think your main focus is, are you the best team in the league? It's not the division anymore. It's, are you the best team in the Eastern Conference, and are you the best team in the league? And the only competition I really see for them in that is Washington and St. Louis. I think overall, looking at the standings, St. Louis, Boston, and Washington have separated themselves from everyone else in the field as the top 3 teams. And there's a significant gap from those teams down to the next group. And so, yeah, I think Boston's pretty much got the Atlantic locked up before Christmas. And I don't really see any of these teams catching them. That is a massive gap for this early in the season. So Bruins have been unreal this year. Shocking to me. I knew they'd be good. I knew they were a playoff team. I did not expect this. 3 losses. 3 regulation losses all season, and we're in December for Boston. That's insane. But with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.